This means you are preventing yourself from being, I would say, vulnerable to the lots of diseases like the new diseases, diabetics, and so on.
Okay, great.
This is one point. The second point is, let's say...
Thank you very much. Enough, Mohammed. Thank you very much. Impressive. Mohammed, I liked your vocabulary that you're using. I will move to the speaking tips later on. I'm just giving you general ideas of how does the test look like, okay? Thank you very much, Mohammed. I liked your vocabulary words that you use, like the word vulnerable, some diseases like, what did you say, stomachache or what? What else diseases did you say? I almost forgot.
Diabetic.
Diabetes too.
Diabetes.
Yeah, diabetes too. Thank you very much. Now let's choose number 6. Question 2.
Yes, it's me.
Okay,
yes, it's me.
Ladies, I don't mean to choose men. Wallah, no, I'm not, I don't have this, I'm very, very objective. I'm not biased by any means, okay? It's just their luck.
See.
Okay. Okay. Yes, go ahead, Abdul Hamid.
Actually, I think if someone catch cold, he has to bundle up his clothes and take a source of vitamin C. Take a rest at home. Try to avoid any air
current.
Any air current, yes. And eat healthier food as much as you can. And this is, I think.
Okay, so
the precaution.
Thank you very much. Okay, both of the gentlemen now gave us very nice ideas with very nice vocabulary, but actually, when it comes to grammar and the general, the sentence structure, there are catastrophes that we'll get to know later on, okay? Because these are short chunks of sentences, very short, and they use the 100 of and. Yeah? Both of them, by the way, not only Abdul Hamid and Mohammed too. Let's move to question 3 with number 5. Oh no, 4.
Okay. Okay, Hand, regarding the question of do you pay attention to public information about health? Actually, sure, it's important to pay attention for the public information about health. Sometimes I can apply what I know, like for Indomie, when I knew that it's harmful for children, I stopped my children to eat such a food. Regarding other foods like fast food, only for me and my children eat fast food only in the weekend. And I try to also decrease the time that I take a Coke or Pepsi. That's all.
Thank you very much. Okay, so well, this was Ashwaq?
Yes.
Okay, Ashwaq, you have a big problem with the pa and b sound. Did you notice this? A big problem, man, you have to deal with. Okay, and I will tell you later on how to deal with.
Which sound, Hind?
P and b. B?
Yeah, I know that.
Yes.
I know.
It is a big problem that you have to deal with. But you know what? The most important information to know that we have like a ba in Arabic, alif, ba. The second letter is a ba, which is a B. A, B. Ba. عادي بنطقها exactly like the ba in Arabic. When you say balloona, ballona, it's balloon. Both ba are pronounced in the same way. Whereas the p sound, if you have a paper right in front of you and you pronounce the p sound, p, you feel like there is an air coming out of your chest up to your lips that expels the air from your chest. So here comes the difference between the p and the ba sound, okay? Okay, so, well, I know that the rest of the guys are very much ready to answer the rest of the questions, but I really need to go back to my most important tips about this part, which is the rest of the exam and how does it look like, okay? So, back again to my main topic, which is, I'll stop the share and I'll come back to my window. So that was section 1 in the speaking. Then we'll have section 2 in the speaking, which is called the cue card. Section 2 in the speaking, that is called cue card. I'll move quickly between the 4 sections. That was only a small sample of how does the exam go and how is it held. I'll move quickly throughout the 4 main components, and then we'll have one by one or a component by another. Okay, we'll go one by one. So section 1 and section 2, section 2 and section 3. Section 2 is mainly called a cue card, by which they will give you a paper. In this paper, there will be a written question, and then you will be given a blank paper on which you will have to plan the answer. Then you will be given 2 minutes, 2 continuous minutes to keep on talking about this topic. They will record your answer. Then while evaluating your answer, they will again play it, and based on what you've said, they will give you your speaking score. By the way, speaking task 2 or section 2 is one of the most challenging tasks. Why? Because some people think that it is, well, 2 minutes is not that long time. Well, no, 2 minutes, if you don't have enough fluency, enough vocabulary, and a very good grammar structure, I'm afraid that the 2 minutes will look like ages. Okay, so you have to be very well prepared for this moment. All right, and then for task 3. In task 2, you will be given a certain topic. Task 3 will be an extension to this topic. They will extend the topic. And for example, if task 2 is mainly about technology in our lives, task 3 also will be about technology in our lives. So what is the difference? In task 3, first of all, you won't be given a card or nothing to write. You won't be given time to think and to write to take notes of your ideas or of your feelings. Task 3 also has very, very important thing, which is the difference between task 2 and task 3, that despite the fact that both of them may have the same topic, in task 3, you may think differently. In what way? In task 3, you have to think like a philosopher. Like how does a philosopher think? Can anyone tell me? May? How does a philosopher
think outside the box? I think they think outside the box. They get new ideas about the topic, but I think they are creative ideas and so on.
Well, what makes their ideas, thank you very much, May. What makes their ideas quite creative is that they go deeper in something we call Bloom taxonomy. Bloom taxonomy means that we do not think like regular people. We go up, and for higher levels of thinking, like critical thinking, evaluating situations, trying to give our own opinion about things. Okay? For that, I believe Nazish understands me quite well, right?
Can I say that? Something? Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, because we apply Bloom's taxonomy in our teaching methodology. Although I'm teaching kindergartners, but still, it's a very important part of teaching.
Sure. It has to do with the educational system overall. It doesn't have to do with the stage rather than the philosophy itself. Yeah? So again, in part 3, you have to think like a philosopher. Let me give you an example, because I can see in your eyes now that you guys are asking, how would I think like a philosopher? Yeah? So it's not that difficult. For example, if in task 2 they are asking you, to what extent do you think that that the government should, task 2, do you think that the government should pay the fees for the young students or for the young learners, or the family should? Again, who do you think should pay the fees for the young children? The government or the parents? And why? Okay? That would be task 2. For task 3, to what extent do you believe that obligatory education is important for the primary student, for the primary level students? What? To what extent do you believe that it is important? This means that you need to think critically. It needs you to evaluate the situation and decide what should your opinion be and why you think this opinion is the correct situation that should be taken either from the government or from the family, right? So it has to do with evaluating the situation, all right? Now I'll move to something else rather than the speaking. We're done. I'm all done with the speaking. I'm again giving only general ideas, overall, the outline of the test. Then,
in terms of timeline, we discussed that the second task is a couple of minutes. How about the third one? Will it be also a couple of minutes?
No, Mohammed, just a group of questions that will be asked. It's just like a ping pong question. She asks you a question, you give her the answer. Question, answer, question, answer. Almost 4 questions will be given for task 3. Okay?
Okay.
Total time here is 13 to 15 minutes maximum for the whole speaking test. All right? Now let's move to something. Any more questions in this regard for the speaking part? Any questions? No questions. So let's move to the reading section. In the reading section, you will have 3, or the reading components, you'll have 3 sections. Section 1, Section 2, and Section 3. Easy? So 3 sections again. Section 1, Section 2, and Section 3. For 1 hour. This means that I'll have to assign how many minutes for each? 60 divided 3 is?
20.
20. Very good.
20 minutes.
For
20
each,
minutes.
right? But
for the general, it was 4.
What's that?
For the general, it was 4 sections.
Yes, I'm going to tell you what. Just wait. Give me some time. So for Section 1, Section 2, and Section 3, here you should give, I don't say 20 for each, because Section 3 is usually the most challenging section. Therefore, I just please recommend that you give only 18 minutes for task 1, 18 minutes for task 2, and 24 minutes for task 3. Okay? So this is the time. And as Allah is saying, in the general module, unfortunately, this is not a fortune. Unfortunately, Section 1 will be divided into Passage 1 and Passage 2. Section 2, Passage 1, and Passage 2. And finally, Section 1 is only 1 passage. Got it? Got it now? So 2 passages for Section 1, 2 passages for Section 2, and 1 passage for Section 3. This means that I should assign how many minutes for each passage?
9.
9 minutes for every passage. Okay? Some passages are quite long. I have to focus. I don't say I have to read. You'll get to know why I don't have to read. Do you have to read the passages? Never. Otherwise, if you decide on reading, then you will be doomed. Why? Because this test is not for pleasure, and the reading passage is not for fun. It's just for implementation. They want to see whether you are eligible, whether you are able to extract information and find information from here or there and answer the questions related to the passage or not. They're testing some skills. Okay, and unfortunately, reading for understanding is not one of these skills that they are testing you in. Okay, therefore, you don't have to read any of these passages. All you have to understand is when you have a question which is included, or a word which is included in a sentence, you need to understand the sentence where you have to answer the question.
Aiming understanding.
Great. Then we move to the listening section. As I said, that the reading section or the reading part is divided into 3 sections. The listening is only 4 sections, right? So you have listening sections, 4 sections. Section 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Overall time, 30 minutes. After you finish, you will be given cadeau, you will be given a gift of 10 minutes on which you have to transfer your answers from the question paper into the answer sheet. Okay? What is the difference between section 1 in listening, section 2, section 3, and section 4? First of all, you will be sitting in an exam hall, a big hall where many people are taking their test. You will be given headphones. Then they will make some tests on which you can determine whether your headphone is nice, working well, working properly or properly or not, or needs to be changed. Once they are sure and you are sure that you can listen clearly to what is being played, they will start the audio recording. You'll have to listen very, very carefully and answer the questions based on what you're listening to. Okay? Here you will have, again, as I said, sections 1, 2, 3, and 4. For section 1, it's usually a common dialogue that happens everywhere, like, for example, booking for a flight ticket. So a conversation between a passenger and an agency employee, for example, or booking for or an application, filling an application. It can be through the phone or via on the internet, or anyway, some kind of interaction between 2 people. Then section 2 will be a speech. A speech means only one person who's talking and the audience are listening to this speech. You have to listen very, very, very carefully, because in this part, it's usually the speech that is given is quite scientific, and you have to be very careful when to stop, when to start holding your pencil again, when to jump like a frog from one answer to another, okay? And when to make sure to listen carefully, because here is a clue word or there is a clue word, all right? For section 3, again, section 3 will be a conversation. A conversation means like more than a dialogue. A dialogue, die means 2 in Latin. Die means 2. Conversation means like people talking, and they are usually more than 2 people talking. 3 people, 4 people talking. And in this section, you have to know who is saying what. You have to be very careful and listen carefully. What is very challenging in this part or in this section is that some people change their mind. Some people change their mind. So, for example, if I'm saying that, well, let's meet tonight at 3 o'clock. Oh, sorry, at 7 o'clock. Oh, pardon me. I remember that. I have an appointment with the dentist. So let it be at 8. Would that be convenient? So Ismail answers and says, yeah, that's a perfect appointment. So now, instead of saying 7, I changed my mind and I wrote 8. Therefore, you have to be very careful, because sometimes the speakers change their mind. Understand? Okay? Yeah, let's move to something else, which is number 4, or section 4. And again, section 4 is basically a scientific speech that is quite challenging. By the way, these passages go from easy to more difficult. It usually comes like this, but it's not a rule, but it's usually like this. From easy, more challenging, the most challenging, okay? So now, after the 30 minutes again, as I said, 10 minutes to write the answers, but my advice to you is during this listening part, write your answers directly in your answer sheet. Don't write them in the question paper. Condition that you don't press on the pencil. Because once you press on the pencil, it would be really difficult if the speaker changes his or her mind and you needed to cross out your answer or delete your answer, then at that time you will find it difficult. So write like a little bit slightly and lightly on the paper, okay? Until your answers are very, until you're certain of what you're giving as an answer, okay? Now, people started to feel headache. Okay, who can sum up the reading section? Now you have the board, or should I hide it? Should I hide it? Reading section? No, no. Reading section. Volunteer?
I think I can, but I will rely on what I wrote during the, let's say, the
Great, no problem.
last
Please
30
go ahead.
minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Mainly, I tried to summarize for each section what is the total timeline. So for reading, it will be 60 minutes.
Great.
It will contain 3 sections: section 1, section 2, and section 3.
Excellent.
Section 1 will be 18 minutes. Section 2 will be 18 minutes, while section 3 will be 24 minutes.
Yes, it won't be, Mohammed. They won't tell you. They will just give you an hour. You have to keep your eye to watch all the time. Okay? So you are the one who will assign this time for yourself. They will give you 1 hour and you manage. Therefore, time management, starting from day one, we need to learn how to manage our time. Continue, Mohammed, please. Excellent.
Okay. In terms of parts, section 1 will be 2 parts, part 1, part 2. Section 2 will be the same, part 1, part 2, while section 3 will be only 1 part.
Yes. And by the way, Mohammed, let me add something to you. Thank you very much, Mohammed. Great job. For section 3, I don't know whether you know, for those who are familiar with the test, they will know that section 3 is the longest and the most challenging. Sometimes it reaches up to 2,700 words. Other times it can be 2,800 words. So it's a long word limit, a big word limit, okay? Therefore, I'm telling you that, well, if you guys have, if you guys can manage your time and you could easily reach the section 2 with 24 minutes, then you will be able to do it, definitely. If not, then you will be in trouble. Therefore, I'm telling you, please make sure that you assign the big amount of time for section 3, not for section 1, especially that it has or it contains the most challenging questions, like I will tell you the different types of questions for the reading passage. Okay? Now let's move to writing. For those who had the test before, who had the test before? Mohammed, no, not Mohammed. Who? Nazish, yes, Nazish. Nazish, what do you know about the writing test? Tell me.
Well, writing has 2 parts. The first part is usually about the lecture, or it's about writing application, maybe. Yeah, I remember now. It's first part is either a lecture or application, and the second part is writing an essay upon a topic, and you need to present an opinion regarding that topic, and it's like a statement which says, do you agree or not? And you have to elaborate it, and you have to give your opinion on the topic.
Hey, amazing. Okay, so you know about the writing very well. In the writing section, you will be given, either you're taking the general module or the academic module, you will be given two tasks, task 1 and task 2. For task 1 general, now I'm going to talk about the general module. Task 1 will be mainly writing a letter writing. And letter writing is quite easy. Once you master the outline of writing a letter, whether the letter is formal letter, informal letter, semi-formal letter, the skeleton and the outline is one. So you don't have to worry about this task. And again, as I told you, the duration for the writing part will be 1 whole hour. But what weighs more is task 2. Therefore, I have to assign 20 minutes for task 1 and 40 minutes for task 2. especially that you will be given a word limit. A word limit, I mean that you will have to write at least 150 words for task 1, 250 words for task 2. Again, 150 words for task 1, 250 words for task 2. Well, it depends from one person to another's handwriting. Sometimes, if you have a big handwriting, then you can write 10 or more words in one line. Other people who have small handwriting, they can write more than 10 words in a line. Therefore, you guys have to print out the PDF answer sheet for the IELTS exam, then start practicing in the same answer sheet in order to know and to be familiar with the average number of words you write in a line. You got it?
Yeah.
Clear enough?
Yeah. This will be the minimum number of words, correct?
Yes.
So I can exceed, but
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question, Mohammed. Well, for those who intend to write less than 150, your score will be ruined because you will have some criteria, among which among this criteria is the task achievement, whether you wrote the minimum number of words or not. If you didn't reach to this number or word limit, unfortunately, your score will be badly affected. If you wrote more, then there's no problem, as long as you're maintaining the time limit. No one will tell you that you exceeded the time. But when it comes to writing task 2, if you spent a lot of time in writing task 1, then from where would you get time for writing part 2 or section 2 in your writing? So please, you have to write a considerable number of words and make sure you do not write less, though you can write more, but not too much, not to take from the other section's time. All right? Let's move to section 2. In the writing, section 2 is a little bit challenging for people to write and get a high score in. By the way, if we talk about how much does each one of these weigh, well, the first task weighs 40% of the writing score, and 60% will go for task 2. Okay? Again, 40% for task 1, 60% for task 2. That's why many people believe that task 2 is more important than task 1. But let me tell you something. Nothing is more important than the other. Both of them are important, and you will be in a desperate need for a single point in this exam. Okay? So please do not underestimate the value of any task given to you during this test. For task 2 in the writing, you will be asked to write an essay. And an essay means opinion essay. For example, to show your opinion, they will give you 2 points of views, okay? Some people, I will give you an example. Some people believe that technology will overcome, or the iPads will replace books in the future, all right? While others believe that books is one of the main essential poles in the educational system. To what extent do you believe in your opinion, what do you think? Do you think that iPads can replace books in the future? And give evidence to what you're saying. Yes? Also, give examples. So in this essay, what should I do? I should consider both sides, right? Both sides should be considered. Side number 1, which is whether they can overcome them and replace them, or books will be the main educational tool, and I have to decide whether I stand here or there. Which one weighs more? What's the probabilities of technology here, and what is the probabilities of books staying in their same place? Yeah, I have to consider this very carefully while I'm doing the planning. Then I have to figure out where should I stand, whether here or there, to form my opinion and to express it. This is an opinion essay. Other essays need you to write your opinion, but they can be called argumentative essays. Argumentative, like an argument. Yes, argument means two points of view, but you don't have to show your own opinion. They ask you to write your own opinion in the question prompt. Okay? So all you have to do is to prove that those people are saying that because so-and-so, and those people are saying that because so-and-so. All right? You don't have to show your opinion at that time. This is an argumentative essay. So task 2 is mainly about essays, academic essays. Okay, but what makes my academic essay count? Well, there is an outline that you should not go out. You have to be very committed to an outline, or we call it a skeleton, that you shouldn't go. Do you know the skeleton? This is the skeleton, my skull, my bones, skeleton, medical people. Yeah? Skeleton of the body.
Skeleton.
So, yes. So the skeleton of the writing must be understood and digested very carefully. Okay? We'll talk about this in details later on. All right?
Okay.
Okay. So, do you guys understand what I say?
For the opinion, please, I have a question. For the opinion essay,
Yeah.
in which part should I mention my opinion? In the introduction, or through the essay?
Don't rush having a headache, please. Don't rush the headache. Okay. In the opinion, well, what I want to say, Abdul Hamid, is that when we reach to the writing part, I will tell you exactly when should you write your opinion. But you know, overall, your opinion must be in the introduction and in the conclusion. Okay? I'll go through all these details once I start explaining each and every part of these in details. So don't worry and don't rush things, يا عبد الحميد.
Okay, okay.
يلا نروح بسرعة على speaking tips before I start doing anything. But before, again, I start moving to the speaking section. I want Marwa